Hey, what's going on? This is PernellBobby checking in with you because you're probably looking to create an incredible sex life and you're probably looking to do that leveraging astrology, okay? Welcome to my channel. Definitely, obviously, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Why not now? I'm going to be doing a series. Today is about Taurus Rising, okay? If you are Taurus Rising, that means you have a 7th house descendant in the space of Scorpio. I think this is pretty incredible. I actually am a Scorpio Rising, so I have a lot of resonance with this as the twin opposites, right? I have a video out there for Scorpio Risings with the Taurus in 7th house. 7th house being about partnerships, okay? So that's where my Taurus sits. But we're gonna switch this up today. We're gonna talk about Taurus Rising, and it's gonna be bringing Scorpio in the 7th house, or also known as the Descendant, okay? On this channel, other than the content that I'm talking about when it comes to sexual expansion and creating an incredible sex life, you're also going to be able to really more so with the rest of my content, get very super duper empowering and enrichment. All right. I don't know what the hell that was about, but like content that is designed to empower you, content that's designed to enrich your life. Okay. Content that's designed to help you master your response to suffering. Okay. By leveraging astrology. So let's get into it. Anyone that's looking for, if you buy the time in this video, to work with me one-on-one in order to explore your sexual practices, in order to explore a more sacred, more divine sexual space, to just really expand yourself, like expand the possibilities of what is possible. We definitely want to, and I would love to have you check in. There's a form down below to work with me one-on-one. And if not that, you're able to obviously get a natal reading. So let's dive in, okay? I'm here as your AstroTherapist, getting ready to do the do. I'm really excited about this. I'm recording this on Zoom because I lost my phone last night. I'm here in Miami or Fort Lauderdale. It's actually really, really beautiful. Let me just show you this real quick. And it's ridiculous. I love water, and this is just making me happy. The ocean is in visible sight. So today, Taurus Rising. And also forgive me for the shirt coming off. It's just fucking hot. You can already see the sun boiling. So for starters, I like to take into account that Taurus is an earth sign, okay? Considering that Scorpio, which is also the 7th house, the descendant in this scenario, is the house of sex, okay? Among other things, but for this particular video, it is the house of sex. And the twin sister sign, okay? Taurus and Scorpio are feminine energies, all right? The twin sister sign is Taurus. They share this, which makes Taurus, in my personal opinion, probably on this earthly plane, the most, depending on the stage of their life, lustful sign that exists, depending on the stage of their life, but also the most sensual, okay? The most affectionate, the most down to earth sign who is really connected with all of the 5 senses, okay? The ability to smell, taste, hear, touch. I already said taste, but see, okay? And I would say like Scorpio have like the 6th sense, right? Because Scorpio is now in the space of sacred sexuality, but really like fusing in the spiritual and the emotional necessities, okay? Which is like a whole nother 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th sense. The thing with a Taurus rising, and that I believe when it comes to your sex life, first off, you need somebody durable, okay? I mean durable from a physical sense, but I also mean durable from an emotional sense, which is actually what I meant. So when I say durable, I was like, think of earth, right? It's grounded, it's strong, it's stable. You need this as a part of your life. You need this to feel safe within your identity, okay? Your rising sign being your 1st house, right? To feel safe with who you are and your identity, you need something and someone who really will be able to stick it out, really will be able to kind of get in, get dirty, and, you know, do what's necessary, do what they know they need. You know, Taurus is super duper charming, okay? I think that they're not always, depending on what their, you know, the peace dealer on here actually is a Taurus rising, I believe, as well. So, you know, Taurus itself, I think, is not always necessarily a communicative sign, but the rising doesn't necessarily speak about that specifically. But what they are is, whether you're a Taurus sun or a rising, what they are is very charming, okay? Extremely charming. Their heart is just warm. You know, you can trust a Taurus rising. Loyalty, comes at the ultimate cost. You know, this is something that, you know, they don't really do. It's a fixed sign. They don't do this switch up. They don't do unstable partnerships. However, they might find themselves attracting unstable partners. Okay, there's a dark side to this because you have that Scorpio in the 7th house. But what they ultimately want is stability. Okay, they do want stability. They need to feel secure. Taurus is represented from the chakra point with the second. Okay, the sacral chakra. This is the sexual center. So I think that Taurus risings might actually be potentially the most sexual sign in the zodiac, but they're more like this, right? Like they're not going to necessarily be sitting there and spilling their secrets. They're very secretive. As a part of that Scorpio on the descendant in the 7th house, Taurus is going to be the one who will ride or die. Okay, they're going to be the one that you want personally, I believe, on your side, and that's pretty much like a non-negotiable. Like I don't think anybody would ever dislike their experience with the Taurus rising when it comes to sexual encounters. Now, with that being said, they're not likely going to fold and bend over for anybody, because, you know, even when they're in a long committed partnership, which is what they want, which is what they desire, something super duper emotion fulfilling, even when they're in a long, they keep getting better. Okay, you got to think of the bull. The archetype of the Taurus is the bull, and the bull is considered lazy to some people, but that's not actually true. The bull just takes his time and it conserves and preserves its energy. Okay, so it's not going to start running at something until it decides this is what I want. Okay, and when it decides this is what I want, which is like where Aries begins, it decides this is what I have. And so self-esteem is critical. All right, you definitely need to be somebody who has a very high self-esteem. If you're going to try to approach a Taurus rising, or maybe if you are a Taurus rising, you're likely going to have a very high self-esteem. And it's not necessarily just high, but it's sturdy. Okay, it's durable, it's grounded in this earth sign. So, you know, recognize that part of this means that it's ridiculously loyal. All right, it's ridiculously reliable, and long-term relationships, especially from a stable sense, it's what they need. All right, you're going to notice that if you're dating a Taurus rising, they're more likely than not going to put you on a pedestal. Okay, they will often, Taurus represents 2nd house, so it's like they're going to often give you their resources. Okay, at least they're going to share them with you. They probably built those resources for themselves, but Scorpio on the opposite side, especially 7th house, is all about shared resources. So they're likely to actually, whoever they fall for, whoever they love, whoever they're deeply and passionate and affectionately involved with, passionately being a key, affectionately being a key, they're going to give you the most sensual pleasures that you've ever recognized. Okay, they're very aware. They use their 5 senses. And so when it comes to sex, like recognize that sex for them is not necessarily just a physical act, because you have that 7th house in Scorpio, okay, which is like, look, yes, I'm a sex god. However, you know, you got to come correct. There's a couple requirements that needs to be secured. You notice in the key theme, security, that before they move on, before they really put that lover on a pedestal, they're not likely to just necessarily be the one night quick stand. They're very slow to approach partners and to open up. It's more like a flower. They need, as a feminine sign, to open up and blossom. Okay, and they need it in the sense where their 5 senses, is the key thing, are stimulated. So it's the dinner, okay, and the rose petals and the thoughtfulness of having a rose petal and the smell, one of the senses of the rose, while the sight of, let's say, like I said over here, I got the ocean, I got the river and the boats, right? So having a dinner right here with the city views, okay, a resource, the home that I live in, the city views, that makes me feel warm, safe, loved, cared for, okay? And with that, they're going to protect you under any and all circumstances, okay? 7th house is where partnerships lie, they're one-on-one significant relationships, and this is Scorpio. If you ever met a Scorpio, I am a Scorpio rising, you never want to fuck with a Scorpio, because again, other than the house of sex, we run death. And so we will kill a motherfucker. So you got to be very careful. Never betray a Taurus. This is the key thing. If you want to create an incredible sex life with a Taurus, you never betray them, because it's a fixed sign and it's a stubborn sign. It's stubborn as fuck. If you ever met a Taurus, they're stubborn as fuck. They really don't give too many fucks. So with that being said, it's like, if you betray them, that's the end of the line. They'll never talk to you again. You lost them forever. Okay, it really is that simple. Some people are like negotiable, and no, not this fixed sign and not this Taurus. We do have a lunar eclipse coming. This is being filmed on Halloween Day, I think, October 31st, and of 2021. So whenever you do see this, recognize there's a lunar eclipse coming on November 19th. And on my Taurus Rising, there's one reason why I decided to do this one now. And next in line, I'm kind of doing them out of order, but I'm doing all the rising signs for their sex life and how to create an incredible sex life, how to really improve their sex life. You're going through a lunar eclipse and you're going to have 3 of them all in the year of 2022. So these lunar eclipses in Taurus are going to be game changer. Everything, your structure, your stability, especially with Uranus in Taurus right now as well, is going to be impacted in a way that, everything's going to shake up. This is the reality. Like Earth, Taurus running agriculture in the world, like Earth, the physical pleasures that we enjoy, food that you taste, all right, all these things are going to shake up. But to get back to the sex life, taste is a big one, right? The smell. So, I have a Taurus in the 7th house. I'm a Scorpio rising, and, my last lady, like where I would really want to show up for her, like a Taurus, would be, okay, I'm going to give her not just a back rub, but I'm going to give her a crystal cleansing, right? And I'm going to put, different crystals and strategically placing them with care and with love down her spine, down her chakra points in order to give her a crystal cleansing where, we're not just having sex, but it's sacred connection, it's sacred union. And this is key with all things Taurus, okay? The touch, the gentleness of placing each crystal strategically and, with a plan, knowing, look, I'm not just going to sit there and insert myself into this woman or my ex-woman. I'm going to love her. I'm going to care for her. I'm going to show her that she's safe. I'm going to show her that, she can be warm. She can be, that she can rely on me. And this is a key thing for me. Like I could tell you as a 7th house in Taurus, create that security for your partners. Okay. Taurus, a ridiculously romantic sign, is highly intimate. Okay. When I say intimate, I mean close. So they definitely have a sexual appetite that is pretty much insatiable. I will let that be known. So it's insatiable. And the longer they're with their partner, the more they're going to be like this, because that Scorpio element, it makes them soul ties. Okay. They connect and they will latch on the same way a Scorpio will, and it's fixed and they will never let go. And it's really hard for them. They get into very dark and like even like sinister romances sometimes because of that Scorpio 7th house. And it's like sometimes like they are really, quite frankly, attracted to the dark. They're attracted to depth. They want to go emotionally deep with somebody, but it's not just emotionally, like it's physically. They need that physical sensation as well. You can't really have just one or the other with a Taurus or with a Scorpio. You need a little bit of both. They need to combine the physical, the spiritual, the mental, the physical. It's an all-encompassing love. So if you find yourself being a flighty person, you're probably not going to enjoy an incredible sex life with a Taurus, because Tauruses don't do flighty. I hate flighty. Flighty for me is like, when people run away when things get tough, I fucking hate it. I just do. And I say that as a Scorpio rising with a Taurus 7th house, even though this is for Taurus risings. This is critical because we want to really check in with the fact that a Taurus is not going to rush. They never rush. Like I said, it's the bull. It's super slow. It's not lazy. It just needs to decide where it's going. And once the bull starts to run, you can't stop the bull. The bull will bulldoze a train over. Okay. And think of this lover of yours the same way for the Taurus rising. It's like they will protect their person. Security is the key thing with Taurus. They will protect their lover. They will protect their romantic interest to the T. Like they will kill a motherfucker. Literally, with Scorpio being the 7th house, they will kill somebody. This is somebody who will likely, in my personal opinion, kill somebody out of a crime of passion. Literally like a crime of passion. Everyone seen like Minority Report, and they would like preemptively arrest people for crimes of passion. Taurus will be the one arrested every time without ever actually physically killing somebody, because they have this gaze. Scorpio's eyes can pierce through light, humans, and everything fake. So if you're fake, you're not going to last. You're never going to enjoy an incredible sex life with a Taurus rising. You can't be fake. You can't be superficial. You have to have a tremendous amount of depth. I will also say to go to the next standpoint of like, if you have a Mars in Taurus or even a Venus in Taurus, a lot of this stuff will be the same. Venus being part linked to the 7th house coming from Libra, Mars being linked to aggression and a sexual drive being then in Taurus. So really, just recognize that this is key. Recognize that they're also highly attuned to their senses. Okay, so you really need to incorporate, a soft sound during your sexual encounters, like, or it doesn't have to be soft, but it has to be something that gains their attention, something that stimulates the sense of hearing, while also, you know, I don't know, putting like a chocolate lollipop in their mouth or something like that. No pun intended. So this is key. Incorporate the taste, incorporate music, incorporate scents, incense potentially, you know, to stimulate the smell. Visually give them something to look at, like maybe your body, you know, but maybe it's something completely different, like art. You know, they want to go on a date and see the museum and learn the history and enjoy being sensual with you. Okay, enjoy taking their time. This is the key thing. Take your time. Do not try to rush yourself or push yourself onto a Taurus rising. It won't work. It won't work. A Taurus rising, a Mars and Taurus, Venus, Mars and Taurus especially, like their sex drive is super slow. I had a client I did a reading with, and she was looking to, you know, spice up her marriage with her husband, and she had a Taurus and Mars, and it was like, and then this natal reading where she was trying to understand like what was wrong with her, quote unquote, because her husband wanted sex at a rate that she wasn't really prepared to do. So recognize this is, they will get there, but it will take them a tremendous amount of time. They need to feel safe. Their safety is more important for them than their actual sex life. Okay, they're feeling secure. But they will find themselves addicted to that sexual rapport, that sexual connection over time. So recognize that nothing's wrong with you if you feel like you have a slow sex drive, or you haven't in your earlier years of life enjoyed like incredible sex. Like there's hope. And not only is there hope, but like I'm gonna choose you in the long standing. Like I have a Taurus in the 7th house. So like for me, it's like, you know, I can wait. I can wait. The Aries within me is like, I can't wait, right? But the Taurus within me slows me down tremendously in partnerships. And I had to learn, like, you know, I'm not very fast in love. Like I'm not fast to love. Like there's a part of me as an Aries that's super fast to love, and I go through this heartbreak over and over and over. But the Taurus 7th house within me hates that shit. So if you're a Taurus rising, recognize that this is really, really key. Everything is better with time. And, you know, it becomes a cycle of passion and seduction that really never ends. So if I was to try to think about like areas that you can kind of improve, like areas that you want to like check in to really secure that sex life, is, you know, be mindful that you are naturally possessive. With a Scorpio in the 7th house, your one-on-one significant relationships, the place where marriage begins, okay, before 8th house, where it gets really intense and, you know, soul ties. But think about it like this though. Scorpio is the 8th house as well. So it's like the soul ties coming because for you naturally, you know, 7th house is marriage, 8th house is like committed marriage, like, you know, like committed partnership, 7th house. And, you know, so where marriage kind of begins through the social aspects, but through the soul, emotional and sensual bonding happens in 8th house. But Scorpio being in the 7th house for your descendant, you're going to basically feel that right now. You're going to feel like, you know, possessing your partner is critical. I had to learn that this is a thing for me. Like, you know, I need a partner who allows me to possess them. And at the same time, like I want to be possessed by them as well. I want them to be so fucking happy that I'm their man. And I want to be able to sit there with confidence as well and know that, you know, my relationship is secure. I don't want fucking flighty partners who at the first sign of danger, they run away and they want to run into the arms of another man. For me, like this is just important. And this is where it's like, this is a non-negotiable for Taurus rising, Mars and Taurus, Venus and Taurus. I think it's just non-negotiable. This is something I had to learn about myself, and I had to allow myself to switch it up and recognize that, you know, I may flirt here and there as a different parts of me, a different part of my zodiac sign, but when it comes to my committed partnership, it's like, look, you know what? The reality is I want this to clearly be my lady. And I want that lady to clearly be like, that's my man. And it's no fucking flex in between, AKA a fixed sign. There's no flex, okay? But it's also where you got to check in with the rooms for improvement, because the Taurus is not flexible. So you got to watch out, and I got to watch for myself where like I will cut somebody off that I was in love with, and it's almost like we never fucking had as much passionate love and romance and intimacy that we had. Because when I feel betrayed, it's just what it is. It's done. It's like, you know what? Fuck it. If the trust is gone for a Taurus rising, the sex is not happening. It's just non-existent. Okay, so you're definitely not going to have an incredible sex life with that. But check in with the room for improvement, because, you know, I got to see where my opinions really just aren't too flexible, where, you know, the deals that I may create are extremely strong, and it's not necessarily logical. It's not really too reasonable for people to actually follow that. So, you know, I don't have that partner at this time in my life, but I'm sure that there's something that exists. There's a way that I'm going to be able to secure a lot of that. And this is really key. So with this being said, what I also want to say is never get a Taurus angry. They'll take a very long time to get angry, but when they do, they will never let it go. Okay. I had a lady I dated who had a lot of Leo placements as well. And it's like, man, those fixed signs, when a fixed sign is angry, it's like, you know what, just like fucking walk away and like let them, you know, let them be angry. Taurus, again, specifically Taurus rising, Taurus 7th house, they're not going to necessarily be, hola. They're not going to necessarily be angry quick. They're not going to be quick to start. But what they will do is they will never let it go. Like, this is critical. They will never let it go. And if they lose that trust, trying to get them to forgive you is just good luck. I don't think forgiveness is a really big key trait of theirs. I think that Scorpio has a big link to the heart chakra. Okay, so the Scorpio 7th house, big link to the heart chakra, and forgiveness is not their strong suit. I'll be honest. So the best thing is to never betray them, never cross that trust. If you do that and you find yourself never doing that, then you're gonna have such an emotionally fulfilling relationship, such an emotionally soul bonded love life. So in order to prove that love life, like, check in real quick and recognize that as you find yourself more open-minded and recognize that people do make mistakes, you're gonna begin to enjoy a better sex life. This is just a reality. If I was trying to look a little bit of where the Scorpio 7th house may actually benefit you tremendously, is that, you know, you can expect to go deep with somebody. And if you're not willing to go deep and you know you're really evasive, or you're just, maybe you're not evasive, but you're in a stage of your life where you are very avoidant, you're very, like, you know, flaky, like, let's say air signs, like a Gemini or a Libra, and you're very flaky, then I just recommend that, you know, you recognize somebody else as a Taurus rising, just don't go that way, because you're gonna waste your time, and, you know, you're gonna get yourself hurt, because, you know, when they're not in their right mind, or they are in their right mind and they feel betrayed, either way, it's just gonna hurt you tremendously. So this is my interpretation for Taurus rising. If you're looking to get an astrology session with me and you want to go through some therapy and you want to heal your dynamics within your relationship, within your love life, definitely reach out. This is something that I do. With that being said, I thank you tremendously for your subscription. I thank you tremendously for hitting that like and sharing this with another Scorpio rising or Scorpio or Taurus rising. All right, understanding that they can benefit from this, hopefully. I don't want to toot my horn, but tooting that junk. And with that being said, it's PernellBobby, your astrotherapist, checking in and checking back out. Thank you tremendously. I shall see you soon.